Welcome to Quack&Co, the board game channel where every video is 10 minutes or less guaranteed, and today we're taking a look at Obsession. Now, if you love Downton Abbey, which I did up into a very dramatic point, I don't know what I can and can't say. Let's just say the storyline changed and they lost me as a viewer because of, stuff happened. If you're a fan of Downton Abbey and you want to experience that in a board game form, Obsession is going to be the game for you. This is all about running a Victorian era estate. We have the Wessex expansion. We have the promotional tiles. We have the very useful box. And we have the upstairs, downstairs expansion. Now, Obsession. Pride, Intrigue, Prejudice in Victorian England. This is a game that is just being added to my personal collection. It was on my Grail Games list. Finally got my hands onto a copy of it. And now we get a chance to open it up. This is a lovely game. The type of game that you would have at a tea party or a dinner event. Like, we're working on possibly doing a gameplay that just has us all being Victorian people. Changes are afoot in Derbyshire, England, where four families, all possessed of eligible young gentlemen and ladies, find themselves embroiled in romance and intrigue during a time of optimism. Fortune has recently smiled upon these somewhat neglected estates, families with respectable histories that endured hard times in the late 18th century. Kind of went Scottish there for a second. Now, in the mid-19th century, the families Aquith, Cavendish, Ponsonby, and York have conveniently come down into new sources of income and are intent on improving their country estates and restoring their failing reputations. The flow of funds is modest, but there is new optimism abroad in this part of Derbyshire. And that's what this game becomes. It is a game that is all about running a lovely estate that just acquired some new money. The victory point track. Gentry. Objective milestone. Reputation. Service. Wealth. Courtship. It's all lovely. We have so many cool little boxes here. So many things that I want to start digging into. All of these are going to be like crazy little open up and organize tiles and bits and pieces like this here. This entire thing is full of little workers that you're placing because you're going to have your little group of people that work for you, and you can hire maids and individuals to help like run your kitchen staff, and it's just lovely in every regard. We have your personal little playwrights here. These are going to be boxes that house all of your personal little components after everything gets shuffled down, and you'll just, when you want to play the game, hand these out to people like respectable lads and lasses. We have our set of cards, tiny little cards, victory point cards here, and Abbey Hall, which is going to be the round tracker. So, this is going to be each one of your little estate pieces. You have various different estate boards here, which are going to be how you actually run your show. And we have all of our little tiles inside of here. So these are going to be the different types of rooms and things that you can add into your hall, like a fenced paddock or a flower room. You could add in a breakfast room, a butler's room, a servant's hall, a smoking room, drawing room, a long galley, a tennis court, a coquette lawn. And you can just build out your estate, and then you can house and host and have people over for estate parties and for moments of opportunity and time where you get to spend together. And that's the entire objective of this game. It's worker placement with a bit of tableau building and victory point scoring, right? It's a classic Euro game to heart and soul, but it is so much more than that. And I know it's kind of ugly. But it feels good. It feels right. And there's something about it. Maybe it's just the fact that I've watched up to a particular accident, on the show. Yeah, they lost me at the accident, man. They really did. They just lost me. We have promotion tiles here. You could add a laundry, a still room, a summer house, an east lawn, an elderly hall, and an art gallery. Little promo tiles. We have the useful box, which I'm excited to dive into because it'll be full of very useful stuff. So I know the game looks a little off, right? It looks kind of old school, but that's what you're doing. It feels and looks bland, but it's so thematic. It's so tied to what it is. Like I said, I don't need to convince you anything about this game. I just want to open it up so that I can go ahead and move it downstairs and just add it to our permanent collection, and then play it, and then keep telling you about it, because it's lovely, and you should continue playing it. And if you haven't had a chance to try it out, or got your hands onto it yet, you absolutely should. Tiny little worker placement meeple, very useful. A useful deck of cards. A few more useful tiles, which are very nice to have. A very useful bag, which helps me organize and sort and move things around. And the useful box. Does it say anything about what the useful box has? Tragedy is by no means finished with Margaret Darger, the Countess Fairchild, 8 short months after the death of Henry, her only sibling. Her brother died when he was thrown from a horse, breaking his neck. His wife Ethel, just 3 years married, and herself childless, soon joined by the Darger Countess in Derbyshire. Mutual companions coping with the loneliness and loss, broken-hearted and withdrawn. All these cards, and I need to show you some of these. All these cards come with little bits of people and events and parties that you're throwing and story. And they start pulling out from the shadows. Look at this. Miss Eleanor, Miss Prudence, Mr. William Darby. Just all these individuals. Now this box does look like it also has, very helpful reference cards, which I love. Thank you so much. So it's like a mini expansion full of other useful things, which to me just sounds lovely because I appreciate useful things. Do you fit in this useful box? How useful is this box going to be? That's the question that we all need to ask. Yes, you will fit in this very useful box. And then these can just go in the main box, and I will make more use of the useful box. Wow. What a lovely useful box. And this makes it 1 to 6 players instead of 1 to 4. Wow. A shockingly useful box, I have to admit. The Wessex expansion. I know nothing about this expansion because I've never played with this expansion, so I can't tell you anything about it, but I can tell you what's on the back. The greatest mistake any man has ever made is supposed that the good things of the world are not worth the winning. That does sound absolutely right. 2nd edition player board. Interesting. Deluxe second printing includes 2 new improvement tiles. Morning room and retiring room. Requires the obsession base game. Oh, okay. Very fancy. Another deck of cards. Very lovely. Very lovely. Tennis court, morning room. And what's this? What is this thing? The Wessex player board. Shockingly, not as useful. Not as useful as the useful box. I'll admit, it just has Wessex inside of it. And no one has ever said that Wessex was the most useful thing ever. Nice to have, very nice to have, but maybe, just maybe not as useful as, well, some other things that you could have. Like, I mean, no one would really trade the entire season of... I'll stop speaking. We also have the upstairs and downstairs, an obsession expansion, which is going to add, you guessed it, upstairs and downstairs. Some bags, some cards, some more workers if you need them. The promotional card here, the What's in the Box bridge, more people, Howard, who you could play with, the Builder's Market, the Abbey Hall, and more tiles to punch, sort, and organize. And I'm just absolutely charmed and thrilled about this game. I don't know why I needed to unbox it. I just wanted to show it to you, but that's it. I'm just gonna, we can kind of end the video now. I'm going to definitely not get this punched, organized, and start reading the rulebook. Definitely not doing that immediately.